Rush power windows.
Yeah.
They're definitely going with the times, aren't
Yeah.
they? There's a very strong... I've always sensed there was a very strong influence from ZTT.
Very strong influence from ZTT.
In fact, isn't the keyboard player is it Andy?
Yeah, I
Rich?
think
Andy,
I think it was even produced at Psalm West or something. It's produced in
could be
one of the ZTT studios.
Peter Collins is the producer. It's definitely reaching for that ZTT sort of sound world. But do they pull it off?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Because I think Signals I really like because of the
Yeah, I
primitive
like
use of synths. It's it's them embracing the 80s in a totally idiosyncratic Rush way. And so Signals I think is strong. I really like Grace Under Pressure, which is a much darker
Don't know that record.
album. Well, this is where they've listened to U2 and the Police. I mean, the one thing that's great about Rush is that they continually evolved, throughout their career.
Absolutely.
And they're really pulling off that kind of
Yeah.
U2 Police influence, but again in a quirky, definitively Rush way. This kind of feels like they're slightly lost under the technology for me.
It feels... I did listen to it again this morning. It feels like the production has dated it quite badly. There were some great songs on it. There was one song I was listening to, Middletown Dreams. It was a great song, beautiful sentiment in the lyrics, great melody. But then these big reverberating keyboard pads and big drum sounds. And I just thought to myself, this screams 1985 at me.
And it's very click-tracky, isn't it? In the sense
Very
that you feel
click-track,
everything is operating to precise
It's quite clinical.
timing.
It's quite clinical.
Which they don't. Even when you're on Grace Under Pressure, this is a power trio, really
Right.
stretching rhythms.
There is a feeling of them getting lost. As you say, you use the word swamped. Them getting lost under these layers of keyboards and layers of production and layers of sound design. Now, I like sound design in music. I love ZTT. I love what Trevor Horn does. As to whether those two things, Rush and that kind of production approach, make good bedfellows, if the evidence was this album, I would say not really. And it's not because it's a bad album. It's an okay album.
Yeah.
It's an okay album, but I don't think it's entirely successful. I don't know what they did after this. Did they continue down this
They
road? Or?
did Hold Your Fire, I
don't
think,
know
which is
this
slightly more synthesized version of that. I mean, these
Is it?
probably Hold Your Fire and this would be my two least favourite Rush albums, actually.
I mean, they're going with the times, and they're kind of pulling it off. They are.
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
they are. And they get Rupert Hine in a couple of albums down the line as well.
I'm certainly not going to put this in the same category as, Miles Davis, You're Under Arrest, or
No,
Dog
I mean,
Eat Dog.
the point is there's still an intelligence in the lyrics. There's still a definitively Rush quality in there somewhere. And I think it comes out of their natural curiosity about what's going on.
I think so too. I think they genuinely loved the Police and U2 and the ZTT sound. They genuinely loved it, and they genuinely wanted to bring that into their kind of sound.
That's it. And I think, again, if you're a musician...
And you can hear that. You can hear that integrity is still there.
Yeah. I suppose they were coming at it from a different angle. Whereas 84, I might have been blown away by Laurie Anderson, Scott Walker, David Sylvie and Blue Nile. They're blown away by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Yeah. But understandably, because it was an amazing record.
I still am. I still am.
It's still a great record, but that wasn't necessarily where I'd personally take my vision. But
there's something about the combination of Rush, this power trio, as we know and love them, and the kind of ZTT, big shiny ZTT production approach that makes the end result sound a bit FM rock. Do you know what I mean? A bit more Journey, Toto, Foreigner, Boston than Synchronicity by the Police or Pleasure Dome or A Secret Wish. It kind of lands somewhere between the two. Yeah. It's too close to that kind of AOR FM American sound. For some reason. Maybe he wasn't the right producer choice.
And the album that precedes this, as I say, Grace Under Pressure, it's very much a guitar album. Even though it's very processed and imaginative guitar, it's a guitar album, and this certainly isn't a guitar album. And as keyboard albums go, as I say, I think Signals, because again, it's all played by Geddy Lee.
Yeah, I love it.
And
the production's still quite dry and up front, and you still feel, like you say, like it's essentially a band there.
Very much so, yeah.
And I'm not sure you do. So there you go. Me and Tim, we're not sure about this album. We're not sure if we like it or we don't like it. We're not sure if it's good. But so maybe the people listening to us can give us their opinions on this particular Rush album.
In fact, they can apparently give them verbally as well.
Well, we're gonna try and
Miles.
We're gonna try and implement.
Not Miles Davis, by the way, Miles Scarron.
Miles, our videographer here today, has told us that the next level for the album is going to be having short, spoken
Yeah.
contributions by the listeners to the show. So maybe we'll
Yeah,
implement that.
saying Richard Davis didn't have a West Yorkshire accent. He was from Lancashire. That kind of thing.
I've no idea what you're talking about now, Tim.
Richard Davis, the session player on Astral Weeks. You'd forgotten that already.
I've forgotten that already. I thought Astral Weeks, you told me in the
Yeah.
last episode that Astral Weeks was just made by a load of anonymous session musicians that didn't even know who Van Morrison was. Are you now recanting that?
I'm not.
Oh.
They were session musicians. It was the
From
drummer.
Lancashire?
It was... No, from America. It was the drummer from the Modern Jazz Quartet was the drummer on it.
Oh, okay.
And Richard Davis, who's a great jazz session player.
Oh, that Richard Davis. Okay.
That one.
Right.